Hey everyone, how are y'all? I thought I'd just jump on. We're into the new year now, 2024. So many people had a really rough 2023, so I'm wishing you all a much better year this year. Please just comment if you're on live with me. I'd really appreciate any comments or shares. I'm really trying to grow Positivity Only and the community in 2024. For those of you who don't know, I started Positivity Only in January 2017. I was really struggling with my mental health at this time. I had been experiencing self-harm, suicidal ideation, anxiety, depression, but these things don't define me, and that's why I constantly push forward, and I'm constantly trying to use my personal experiences of mental health to help other people and to be a light during that difficult and those dark times for people as well. As a lot of you probably know, I've been having a really rough time lately. I lost my grandpa in July this last year now. Really tough time. He practically raised me. We were best friends, partner in crimes. He's an amazing man. And his death really hit me hard. Really hit me hard and led to a lot of anxiety and depression as well. I put up a post in December to say I'd taken a really bad panic attack during my exam. And do you know what? The love and the kindness I received from that post has been absolutely phenomenal. But the lovely Michelle reached out from Brighter Skies Transformational Therapy, and she offered me a session of EFT tapping. I had no idea what this was, and I would really recommend that you reach out to her and ask her a bit more about this therapy, what she does, and maybe grab a session with her. So I had a complimentary session this morning, and wow, I'm feeling good. I was not expecting to be on live now. I was going to leave it till later because, to be honest, I was absolutely dreading it because I have so much on today. I was getting up this morning for that therapy session. I'm meeting 2 friends later, and I'm also running a support group. So it's pretty busy, but I thought I'd come on and have a chat while I'm drinking my cup of tea because I'm just feeling so good after that session. And I actually said to Michelle, this is the calmest I think I've ever felt in my life, to be honest with you. I've got bright ocean blue throughout my body. Michelle will get that reference. So Michelle, thank you. I really appreciate that. I make no apologies for plugging her business, Brighter Skies Transformational Therapy, because she's just phenomenal, and her kind heart really shone through when she reached out to me. She wasn't looking money, she wasn't looking promotion, she was just looking to help me, and I really valued that. I really did. So I wanted to come on today on that note to talk about self-care. Now, there seems to be a lot of misconceptions around self-care. I think it's partly down to the media, commercialism, different businesses promoting it in a misleading way perhaps. And I think a lot of people now, when they think of self-care, they think of bubble baths and candles, and that's it. I suppose I'd like to just give you all a minute to think about what self-care means to you and what words kind of come up whenever I say self-care. So I'll give you all a minute to think about that. So for me, self-care means simply looking after myself. Anything I can do to protect and maintain positive physical and mental and social well-being. That to me is what self-care is. So as you can imagine, it encompasses a lot. And yes, bubble baths and candles are great. Absolutely. They are part of my self-care routine. But it's about so much more than that. It is about setting boundaries as well. Boundaries are really important. Now, I don't want you to think of walls. Boundaries can be flexible as well. Walls keep everyone out, but boundaries ensure that you have control over who gets into your inner space. And I've been really, really careful over the last few months who I've allowed into that inner circle, because I have been very vulnerable, especially after the grief. I really have been. So boundaries are a crucial part of self-care. You really need to have boundaries with people and also with yourself. I always had a really tough time saying no to people. I was always doing everything. I had a lot of friends who were pretty much sucking the life out of me, using up a lot of my energy. I was constantly running and running. Anything they asked me to do, I would do it. And this version of myself, I took into every aspect of my life, with family, with friends, with work, with hobbies as well. I was constantly given everything that I had, and your tank becomes empty. Like, I really love that meme that I see on Facebook, and it says you wouldn't let this happen to your phone, because very few of us will let our phones die, and but a lot of us will let ourselves be drained of energy. So it's really, really important that we have those boundaries to prevent breakdown and to prevent burnout. And I was really, really heading towards burnout. I started therapy with Emmett Waters, at Emmett Waters Therapy. He's another incredible therapist. And that leads me on to my second point. Therapy is a crucial part of self-care, and there's so much stigma about going to therapy. And for me, you don't even have to be at crisis point to go to therapy. If you're just struggling with something, or you need to talk something through, or there are some issues that you need to work on, and let's face it, we all have issues, go to therapy. There shouldn't be a stigma around that. I'm not ashamed to say that I've been to therapy on and off since I've been 11, 12, so about 11, 12 years now. I've been going to therapy on and off, to different therapists, trying different tools as well, because it's all about building your toolkit and your coping mechanisms as well. So yeah, go to therapy if you need to. Honestly, there shouldn't be any stigma at all. Another really important part of self-care for me is that when I notice myself starting to dip, when I notice my mood starting to dip or my anxiety starting to peak, it's really, really important that I speak to family and friends about that, who can start to hold me accountable and start to challenge me, because there is no change without challenge. And so often we really, really struggle, but nobody around us knows that we're struggling. And sometimes people are so busy with their own lives that, to be honest, they don't notice either. They don't notice that you haven't reached out for 3 weeks and that's not like you, or you cancelled on them going out shopping. They maybe just thought you were busy, so they had no idea that you weren't feeling good. So it's really good just to have that accountability and have that safety net as well, so that you can really talk to people. So I really want to debunk that myth that self-care is just around bubble baths and candles and having a bit of chocolate if you fancy it, because it's not. It's about protecting yourself. It's about putting those boundaries in place. It's about open communication with yourself and others, being honest with yourself, being truthful. And for so long I was trying to kid myself, and I was trying to make myself believe that I was okay when I wasn't. And everybody kept on asking me, "Are you okay, Katie? You've just lost your grandpa, it's okay not to be okay." And even after working in mental health for so long, I was putting that mask on. So self-care is all about vulnerability, and it's about connecting through that vulnerability as well. It's really, really important that we are authentic in that, and that we talk about how we are feeling. Self-care is really about open communication, and it's about meeting our needs as well. For me, it's another way of saying well-being. So I really want to debunk that myth of it being about bubble baths and candles and things like that. I see a lot online around self-care, and there will be lists and lists of things that you can do. for your self-care routine. And to be honest, I'm getting really overwhelmed by some of these posts that I see, and there'll be lists and lists, and it'll say, you know, you could do this, or you could do that, or you could do this in order to feel good. Write in your journal, have a bubble bath, go and meet a friend, have a coffee, and there's a whole long list of things to do. And yeah, that for me is really, really tough, because it just really, really overwhelms me. And you know yourself, when you're struggling with anxiety or depression or whatever it may be, you're easily overwhelmed. And for me, just reading that big long list makes me just not want to engage in self-care. So, as I always say, one small step at a time. I don't even like the phrase one day at a time, because sometimes a day can be a whole lot, especially when we're really, really struggling. So one step at a time. Self-care may be simply coming through the door and saying, look, I know we had planned to go out shopping tonight, but I'm actually really, really tired. Could we leave it to another night? Or it could be sending a text to a friend saying, hey, hope you're well. I would really love to meet up soon if you're free. That's self-care in itself, because you're establishing that connection as well, and you're reaching out to someone too. There are lots of examples of this. For me, self-care, I love getting down to the beach. I love a walk in the sand. For me, the ocean, it's my happy place. No matter how stormy or how calm the ocean is, regardless of its state, it really makes me feel calm and chill. So for me, it's about getting down there with my amazing dog, Finn. He's not very happy with me right now because I've shut him in the living room while I'm doing this live in the kitchen. So yeah, just going to a place that you love as well, whether that's a forest, a beach, whether that's lying on your bed and reading a really good book. But boundaries are absolutely crucial to self-care. Walls keep everyone out. Boundaries give you choice and control. They definitely do. So looking after yourself, it isn't just about bubble baths and candles. It's about so much more than that. It's about saying no to people. It's about saying yes to yourself. It's about having boundaries. It's about taking time for yourself. It's about acknowledging that you're not okay, and about acknowledging your needs. What do you need right now? And reach out for that. This is going out to an international audience, so you can check out a lot of my posts. I have a lot of signposting posts up there. Countries all over the world, you can find a helpline and some support to reach out for. More specifically in Northern Ireland, there are lots of organisations and charities that you can reach out to. There's Action Mental Health, Aware Northern Ireland, Arc Fitness, Addiction Recovery Coaching as well. They are absolutely incredible. Then you've got the likes of Lifeline, Samaritans. If you want to go privately, there's Vivian McKinnon at Hydroways and Emmett Waters at Emmett Waters Therapy as well. There are lots of options. Please reach out for support. So remember, self-care, it's about boundaries, it's about connecting with yourself and others, it's about looking after yourself, it's about acknowledging your needs, and it's about acknowledging your vulnerability as well. How are you really feeling today? And it's about addressing how you're really feeling. Sometimes for me, just getting up out of bed is self-care. Especially when I'm really struggling with depression. Just getting up out of bed, even coming down the stairs, flicking on the kettle and making a cuppa. You don't even have to drink the cuppa, it's just a simple task that you can do. Sometimes that is self-care if you're really struggling. Please try not to be overwhelmed by some of these words that are thrown out. I think there's a lot of commercialism around self-care, and there's lots of self-care guides and self-help journals and self-help books, and don't get me wrong, a lot of them are incredible, but it can also become very overwhelming when you're stressed out and you're anxious and you're burnt out, and there's a list of 60 things that you can do online. So I would always just pick like 4 or 5 things that I like to do to take care of myself. I'm just trying to think of my top 5 here. For me, it's definitely about taking time every single evening, not every other evening, every single evening, to do something just for me. So recently that has been getting back into reading, and I don't mean my textbooks that were really stressing me out. I mean just the books that I love. So for me, number 1 has been reading. Number 2 has definitely been spending more time with my dog Finn. And you'll probably see a lot of posts on my Facebook. I absolutely adore him. So spending time with Finn, that leads me to my 3rd point. I love spending time at the beach as well. It's just so beautiful, it's so healing. So I really love spending time at the beach. Number 4, it's been about getting social again. I really struggled with isolation and loneliness and disconnection whenever my grandpa passed away in July. Been really struggling with that grief, and it's been really hard. I'm a very social person, but I've just been really disconnected from people, and I had a lot of people message me and say, "Are you okay? I haven't heard from you in 4 months, you know. You're normally very chatty and whatever." So for me, it's been about reconnecting with people. I'm meeting 2 friends for coffee today, so that will be really good. I think I'm on to number 5. Apologies if I've missed one. Number 5, it would always be checking in with people about my mental health. So for me, I'm very fortunate. I have 2 fabulous friends who are both trauma therapists, so I have a lot of choice there, which is good. And for me, it's just about checking in with them and having some therapy sessions if I feel I want to talk about anything. And remember, therapy isn't just for when you're in crisis. It's also a coping mechanism, and it's a tool as well. It can become part of your toolkit. So therapy isn't just when you're in crisis or you're struggling with anxiety or depression. If there's anything in your life that you might be finding difficult right now, or you want to talk to an outsider about, somebody outside of your immediate circle, therapy can be really helpful. There's a really good resource. It's called Find Help NI. So if you type in Find Help NI to Google, it'll come up with lots of different resources across Northern Ireland as well. There's lots of resources, there's videos, there's different therapists that you can contact, different helplines, different support groups as well. It's been a new creation at the minute. It's absolutely fantastic. On Positivity Only itself platform, I reach a more international audience, so you will find resources in Australia, Canada, America. I've been reaching all over at the minute. I think I've even followers in like Nigeria and everything, and the Caribbean, so it's been absolutely incredible. So there's that as well. And then there's Find a Helpline. If you type that into Google, it has well over 100 different countries, and it has different helplines for each country as well that you can contact. And there are ones there for even just having a chat with someone. You don't have to be in crisis. So please remember that self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. You cannot help other people unless you're looking after yourself. And I've really learned that the hard way. I really have. I actually left my job there November time. I was just really struggling. There had been stuff going on, and I was really struggling with my personal life as well, with losing my grandpa. It was huge, and I decided that I wanted a new challenge in 2024, but that I needed some time to just get through the rest of that master's module I'd been doing and get some rest as well before I started my thesis, my dissertation this year. And rest isn't the opposite of work. Rest is part of the work. Let me just explain that a bit. So if you're constantly working and you're constantly going and you've constantly got your foot on the accelerator, if you don't incorporate rest, if you don't include rest in that routine, in the work, you're not going to be able to do the work, regardless of what that work is. whether it's studying, whether it's your job, whether it's a creative project you've got on right now. So for me, rest is part of that work. It's really, really important that you take time to rest and you take time to nourish your health and your well-being as well. So I've been practicing what I've been preaching, and I've taken a bit of time out. I'm looking for a new job currently. I'm looking for a new exciting challenge for the new year as well. So just take some time out if you need to. I understand it's not always possible to just quit your job. I get that, I really get that. And I won't always be in a position to do that. But if it's a case of even booking a few days annual leave, it's a case of asking a family member or a friend, could they look after the kids for a bit, so you can even get your head showered for an hour. About even asking a loved one in your life for just a bit of help, whether that's with housework or shopping or paperwork or paying bills. Just reach out to someone. And if you don't feel you have someone in your life, there are lots of helplines out there. I have used Shout UK. It's a 24/7 text service, and I have used that to talk about overwhelming feelings and emotions quite recently as well. So you can just text Shout and SHOUT. The number should be on my Facebook page. If it's not, I will share it very soon. I've also used Lifeline and Samaritans, and you can talk to them about anything. They're absolutely incredible. So please remember, self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. So what can you do today to protect your health and well-being? I will post some more tips throughout the day. Thank you so much for listening. I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like, a comment, if you could share. Head on over to my YouTube channel. There are lots of different platforms. I am on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn and YouTube. So please give it a like and a share. And thank you so much for listening. Take care.